Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It is the end of February 2026 and had a short month this month. We actually had our first month where we were negative in a very long time, probably since probably April of 2027. But if you are new to the channel here, this is episode, I believe, 170 of me tracking my net worth since the age of 18. Currently the age 31 right now. And we started with a couple $1,000s at in May of 2012 at 18 years old, and we've got a couple more dollars in that now after after 13 years. So a lot of things to update on. Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So income wise, it looks exactly the same as last month. My wife did get paid two times instead of once from January. We do have one tenant who is paying a little bit late, so they are paying about 15 days late at $5 a day. So we're getting a little bit of extra money and rental income coming in. And then for other income, no other income this month. So compared to last year we got a $5,000, or it looks like $4,400 tax return last year. I went ahead and started the tax filing process, but for me, it's about 2 weeks long to get all of the LLCs filed, the W-2s. There's a million pieces of documentation I have to gather, and then finish all of the invoices and profit and loss statements on the businesses and blah blah blah. So that'll probably come in hopefully any day. They should have those taxes finalized for me. And believe it or not, I am anticipating about $30,000 to come back in federal taxes and probably state taxes as well for the month of March this year. So March is going to be absolutely crazy. They announced our bonus at work, so it's pretty much the same as I got last year, which is crazy good. $62,000 bonus for the month of March. $30,000 in federal taxes. I'm anticipating getting back. The real estate stuff is going absolutely crazy. I've got 5 closings that will happen in March, which is probably 40,000 that I should make at the end of by the end of March this time next month. And I actually got a pay raise as well. I got a 3.5% pay raise. So my base salary at my pharmaceutical job is about 195,000 base plus $60,000 in bonuses plus stock options. So it's probably I'm probably getting close to 375 to maybe 400 overall salary just at the pharma job. And then this year, I'm on pace to hit probably 100,000 in real estate. So I might actually cross $500,000 in earned income this year, plus some rental property income. That might be 50,000 this year. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We're only 2 months in, but things are looking bright. So you can see the numbers here on screen. I'm not going to repeat all of those, but my 2026 numbers are down here at the bottom, and my lifetime totals are even further down here. So jumping into net worth. For February, nothing crazy with any of our houses. Those just go up 2% per year conservatively. No changes in any of our vehicles. I need to get some of these rolled back actually. I am currently in the process of updating one of our flatbed trailers. I have a 7x16 flatbed trailer. I've painted and everything, so that might increase the value some. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to move the needle that much. And the big topic here is investments. So for investments this month, we were actually down. Market was down about 1.5 to 2%. S&P 500 this month, and my portfolio basically tracked that pretty closely as well. So I was down about $12,000 compared to last month. So no big deal. We'll keep chugging along, and I'm continuing to put money, maxing out the HSA, maxing out my 401k. Well, not quite. I'm putting about 11 or 12,000 in the 401k. Once I get my house paid off, I will start maxing out 401k again. And moving on to debts, really, we're making minimum payments on these top three, and the primary goal for us right now is getting our main house paid off. This is the house my wife and I live in. We have a 30-year fixed rate at 5.25%, and we are about 3 years into that loan. We started with about 700,000, and in 3 years we've moved that down from 700 to 237,000. Now I am crossing my fingers that in 30 days at the end of March, I am hoping this number goes below 100,000. Believe it or not. So with the bonus coming in, with the tax return coming in, with 3.5% raise at my job, with $40,000 worth of real estate stuff coming in, with rental property stuff coming in, I think in March we might hit $120,000 worth of income for March, and so we're at 237. That would put us right around 100, maybe 110,000, somewhere in that ballpark. So it's looking good. It looks like we may get our house paid off by the end of 2026. So it'd take us about 3.5 years to pay off 700,000. So we are pretty aggressively getting that knocked out. But for this month, not not kind of the opposite of that. We've had a pretty poor month for February. As part of being a realtor, I have to pay dues to the agency in which I work, and so I went ahead and paid a full year's worth of realtor dues, which is about $9,000 that I had to pay. So this is why cash is so low currently. We actually had a phenomenal month with the budget, which we'll get into here in a second. But we're down to 32,000, which we try to always hover right around 40,000 as our break even point. But we did have to spend 9,000. So it looks like if you add that $9,000 back in, then we actually saved probably $1,200 all month, and we had some other couple weird expenses as well, which we'll get into. But the only other thing to note is my wife's 403b. She had a couple $1,000s in her Roth IRA. We pulled that money out of her Roth and then put it towards our mortgage here. So that's why there's like a $2,000 decrease here and a $2,000 decrease here. But really, this month didn't pay, other than that Roth IRA, we didn't pay any additional to house number 8 in anticipation of it's kind of like pulling back the rubber band this month. That way we can release it next month and hopefully put like $120,000 towards our main house. So checkings account, like I said, is a little bit lower than what we would have liked, but the rentals of checkings account is steadily moving up here. So we're not quite where we were back here in August before we had our tenant move out. We invested about $10,000 in that one rental property and got it turned around. It's looking much better. We increased the rent about $500 a month on that. And so now we're profiting about $1,000 a month in cash flow from the two rental properties. So about 500 a piece now. And then quickly, we should probably mention our net worth. Net worth actually went down for the month of February. So we're at 1,969,000. We're down about 11,000 compared to last month. And then I'm currently 31. I'll be turning 32 here in May, so in a couple months. Our goal is to have about $4 million by 40 years old. I think we're going to blow that out of the water, but this is the pace basically. We're $600,000 ahead of having 4 million by 40, so we have another 9 years roughly to get that. So I think we're going to be closer to 10 million personally, but we'll see how that goes as well. So for budget, a lot of you wanted to get a glimpse into our monthly spending. Again, we're making probably, I don't know, 300,000 divided by 12, so maybe $30,000 a month on average is our average like gross income. And um, you may get this budget confused with somebody that makes about 50 or 60,000 a month. We really don't have crazy expenses. Once in a while we'll have these weird things that happen, like these realtor expenses. Let's put that to the side and ignore that for a second, just because that's an anomaly. So let's just go through this quickly. This is February of this year. This is looking forward into March. I have last year's. We try to compare to ourselves, not to other people. So I pull in what I spent last year in 2025 for the month of February, and then I categorize everything in these boxes here. And then I populate 2026 just to the right of that, and then I put the difference between what we spent this year versus what we spent last year. So you can see my income's moved up about $400 a month. My wife made a little bit less in teaching. I think she's got like 1 credit hour less this semester than she did last year. We did not make any NRCS income that we did last year, and then other income. This was the tax return, 4,496. That will come in March, so really not too concerned about that either. Taxes, we're paying about the same in taxes. Our 401k, I'm putting $20 more a month in the 401k. We're putting more money in the HSA. And then health insurance, we have 2 children now instead of just one. So our health insurance is about $110 more per month. And then if you want to, you can pause the video here, but here's all of our loan stuff, home loan, land loan, things like that. Here's our bills and utilities. We actually do pretty good. 334 for electricity. That's way lower than the average. And we do not have natural gas here, so we have to heat with electricity. We're $37 on our water bill. We've got to use Starlink for our internet because we're way out in the middle of the nowhere. So it's $120 a month for Starlink. And then we spend about $40 this month on gasoline for our vehicles, and then $200 now on our 529 accounts. And then moving on, groceries for a family of four, we're spending about $500 a month. We went out to a restaurant one time this month, spent $133 at Amazon and $50 on pet food, and then $160 on shopping, and that basically concluded the month. So if you look at total expenses, just take off 9,000 from here. I just ignore the realtor expenses because there's nothing that we can do about that, and that will allow me to actually make more money in real estate if I, paying it like that. So that is why I did that. And honestly, on March the 4th, that will have paid for itself from one of the closings that's going to come in. So essentially, subtract 9,000 from this. So we're sitting around $6,000 total in expenses. We earned about 9,641. So really, we were plus probably $3,000 or $4,000 this month, excluding the realtor expenses. So again, that's going to pay for itself. But I also try to look forward into March. We got big bonuses last year in March. We also paid big money in taxes, and we average about 368 on that electricity bill. Same thing with groceries. It looks like we went a little bit crazy on shopping. March of 2025. So maybe that's something that we can do better on. And that's really how our budget works each month. We look at what we did last year, highlight things like this in shopping. Okay, maybe we can do a little bit better on that. Maybe we can do better in pets. Something weird that must have happened last year around this time. We spent $205 at restaurants, which is also pretty high. So that's exactly what my wife and I will do. We'll highlight some of these categories like this where we think we can make improvements on. Same with the NRCS up here. I don't think we'll spend that much there. And so, yeah, we'll put our earned income, which should be higher than what it is from last year. We'll have a little bit more in deductions than what we had last year, and hopefully reduce our expenses from what they were last year as well. And that's really all our budget is. This maybe takes me 5 minutes to throw this together, and that's pretty much it for the month. So yeah, that is February in a nutshell. So pretty short video today. Not a lot happened for February, but we are going to have a ton going on in the month of March. So I think the net worth is going to fly past 2 million, maybe even go all the way to 2.1 million in a single month. So I am anticipating March of this year will be the biggest month that we've had in my career in the last 13 years. So it should be probably $100,000 increase in one month. Yeah, in the next 30 days. So, but between now and then, I have a lot to do. I'm, working multiple full-time jobs. We've got rental properties we're managing. I have some court stuff that I have to deal with, and represent myself at court with some property tax stuff in my local area. So don't be too concerned. But yeah, so just a lot going on. So wish me luck. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. Be sure to comment down below. Last month's, next month's videos are on the screen now, and I will see you all in the next video.